Great to have you with us. Now, first story. A COVID-19 patient has delivered her baby via cesarean section at the Elwak Isolation and Treatment Center. JoyNews' Beryl Ernestina Richter had an exclusive access to the Elwak Level 2 COVID-19 Isolation and Treatment Center and engaged the medical team who conducted the C-section surgery. Here's a wrap of what took place.
It is day 2 of our tour of the Elwak Level 2 COVID-19 Isolation and Treatment Center. We are here at the theater where a cesarean section would be performed shortly for a pregnant woman who has contracted COVID. I'm sure there are questions on the minds of many, and for this particular one, it is very, very important because this pregnant woman has COVID. So I have with me here one of the key members of the medical team here. Join me, let's find answers. We are joined by Lieutenant Colonel Asari. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us what procedure this pregnant woman would be taken through. I'm asking this because we know it's in the minds of many that if a pregnant woman has COVID, would she go through the same processes a lady with no COVID would go through?
Basically, we would first of all counsel her. Of course, she must be aware as to what she will be going through. This is a cesarean section. And then we will get an informed consent from her. And then once we get that informed consent from her, we will now get into the theater where you can see my team members are preparing. What does it all entail? As you can see, we are all in our PPEs as well, knowing quite well that we are going to deal with a condition that is highly infectious as well. So the patient will come in here, and then we will clean the back. After cleaning the back, one of my team members here will now give her what we call a spinal anesthesia. And in this case, we are just going to instill some few mils of a local anesthetic agent into the back. And that will numb her from the nipple downwards. That will also facilitate us finishing with the surgery. After the surgery is done, she will then go to the ward, and then we will still continue from there. But then we have also prepared that should in case the spinal fails and we have to get into a general anesthesia, we have our anesthetic machine here. We are not only thinking about the mother, the baby is equally important. So we are equally ready as well. Once the baby is delivered and the baby will need any form of resuscitation, we would carry that out effectively.
Okay. We are still in the theater. We are waiting for the patient to be brought. I have with me here one of the key team members. He is Lieutenant Colonel Ejarijan. He's the obstetrician gynecologist. He will tell us what to expect in this first C-section that would happen shortly.
Basically, nothing different from the regular cesarean section, except we know that because of the patient's unfortunate infection with COVID-19, we need to take precautions for mother and for baby, and for the team members who will be involved in the procedure. But we don't expect anything untoward or anything different from what a normal cesarean section would be.
Apologies for the loss of sound there. Let's move elsewhere. And there's confusion over the terms of reference for the probe ordered by the Speaker of Parliament yesterday into allegations of embezzlement of about $159 million meant for the Saglemi housing project. Works and Housing Minister Samuel Atachia made the allegation yesterday when he responded to questions on the floor and served notice former NDC government officials will be prosecuted soon. A report on yesterday's proceedings spelled out 3 terms of reference for the committee. But the Speaker told today's sitting those terms are inaccurate. Joseph Opoku Gapo joins us. Joe, what does the report say are the terms of reference, and what is the Speaker's reaction?
So according to the vote and proceedings document, the first term of reference is for the committee to establish whether 80 million or 40 million US dollars, representing 40% and 20% respectively of the contract sum, was paid to the company, the Constructora OS Ghana Limited, as part of mobilization. And the second point is whether there was a corresponding importation of materials of the said amount for the project after the transfer of the monies outside the country by the contractor. And then the third point is whether the necessary procedures were followed before the transfer of the said amount. That's actually what the document here in Parliament actually says are the terms of reference as were agreed. But some minority MPs, including Mr. Kujetua Blakwa, noted that as far as they are concerned, on the floor, the terms of reference were not agreed on, and the Speaker actually agreed with them that his directive was for a general probe into the said circumstances having to do with the Saglima project, and that he's unaware of any such specific terms of reference. And to quote him, he said that the table office, which compiles the report, did put words in his mouth as far as what the terms of reference were. So his directive now is that they should go ahead and probe the general issues having to do with the said contract and how come there were issues about non-parliamentary approval for a reversal or a revision of the contract and all. So a general look into what happened and report back to the House within 2 weeks.
So, Joe, what difference will this new assignment by the Speaker make in how the committee will do its work?
And so now they are clearing their minds on what exactly they should look out for. The earlier indication was that they were going to zoom into a specific concern about how the project sum, about 40% of it was actually paid to the contractor for mobilization, which the Minister for Works and Housing, Samuel Atachia, is alleging that when the said money was paid, the contractor did not import any items and did not do the necessary mobilization, and that he ended up diverting the said amount. And so the indication is that the probe is not supposed to focus on that specifically, but on the general content about whether there were 5,000 housing units that were supposed to be built instead of 1,000, and report back to Parliament within 2 weeks.
Right. So, Joseph, tell us about the confusion that ensued in Parliament. Was there any fracas on the floor, for instance?
No. So there were only concerns about whether the terms of reference as were laid out were actually the specific terms of reference, with the Speaker, Professor Michael Quickler.
Now, Parliament, we understand, Joseph, is expected to debate the report of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee requesting that the House approves a constitutional instrument that will allow for the compilation of a new voters register by the Electoral Commission. Joseph, has that debate started?
No, it hasn't. We are still waiting for the chairman of that committee, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, to move the motion later in the day in order to allow for MPs to debate that particular report. What has been happening is that the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Shelley Ayokoboche, has been responding to questions here in Parliament on what is being done to actually evacuate Ghanaians who have been stranded in different parts of the world as a result of COVID-19 restrictions, and also the closure of the border as has been announced by President Akufo-Addo. And she says that the said evacuation has actually started. She gave some figures and indicated that just yesterday, about 7 Ghanaians arrived from the Nigerian town of Lagos into the country. Apart from that, a number of others are expected in the coming days. There are about 435 people who are expected from London on the 17th of June, that's later this month. They are expecting another number of 299 people from New York on the 25th of June, and they are as well expecting about 300 people from Washington, D.C. on the 28th of June. There will also be the evacuation of about 675 Ghanaians from China. The conversations on a specific date with regards to that is ongoing, and the minister again told Parliament that from Abu Dhabi and the UAE, about 500 Ghanaians are expected. And so following the directive that various embassies put together figures on stranded Ghanaians, those are the details that they are getting.
Right.
And the processes have begun to evacuate Ghanaians from this.
Right. Joseph, thank you very much for those updates from the House. Let's take you live once more to the commissioning of the Temamoto New Interchange Project, where the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, is commissioning the facility. Well, he just finished that. Now, Maxwell Agbagba is there for us and joins us live. Maxwell, how has the President been reacting to the demands by the NDC to credit former President Mahama for initiating the construction of the interchange?
Well, Daniel, let me say that coming to this event, many people were expecting that the President would directly speak to those concerns raised by the minority in Parliament and the National Democratic Congress. That did not happen. But what we saw, which was a bit closer to the expectation, was President Akufo-Addo saying that former President John Mohammed's claim of putting up unprecedented infrastructure when it comes to roads is only a fantasy that exists in the Green Book. That is the closest that we've seen as a form of response to the minority claim. I'll be telling you more about what the President has been saying here. We have with us the chairman of the Government Assurances Committee, Colin Samuanka. He's here with us. Sir, you're welcome to join us.
It's my pleasure.
So, the Tema interchange completed. We can see the easy flow of traffic now. As the chairman of the Government Assurances Committee, what do you make of this?
Well, I think, first of all, let me put it on record that a promise fulfilled once again by His Excellency the President of the Republic. This is a strategic road project that, as you rightly put it, is going to ease free flow of movement, and also in terms of vehicular movement is going to ease. So I think it's something that is commendable, and we should say that the government has done really well.
You are a majority member of Parliament. Your colleagues in the minority have been raising concerns about who should be credited for this interchange. What do you make of their concerns?
Well, I think I'm not in position to say who should be credited, but the fact of the matter is that it's the people who matter most. That at the end of the day, this very project is going to serve good people of this country, and it's the first of its kind. If you look at this three-tier, intersection road project, it's very beautiful, and I don't want it to be seen as who should be credited, but the fact of the matter is that now it is done, and that is the ultimate thing. It is done. Yes, we cannot see it's been completed, and that should be dear to all of us than to say this regime should be credited.
But the minority is saying that this has happened, many times. They mentioned Terminal 3, for instance. They're saying they didn't get the credits for what they did, MPS and all of that.
Well, I don't know why the minority and also the opposition party is crying for some level of credit as far as certain projects, especially road infrastructure, is concerned. To the best of my knowledge, the current administration has done more in terms of road infrastructure to the people of this country than the NDC. And it's true. If you go through the records, and based on performance-based records, from respective agencies, in terms of road distribution, in terms of road infrastructure, I am of a firm belief that indeed the current administration has delivered on these promises.
Now, a number of supporters of some disqualified aspiring MPP parliamentary candidates are hitting the streets to protest the party's decision against the choice. Let's first take you to Kumasi, where supporters of the disqualified aspiring candidates for Joabing are demonstrating to get the party to reverse its decision. My colleague Ohiming Teria joins us live with more. Ohiming, bring us up to speed on what's happening there. We'll get to Ohiming and get that story. Of course, we know that the New Patriotic Party has set June 20 as the date for the primaries for the parliamentary seats, where they'll be selecting persons who will be representing the party in the 2016 election, the 2020 elections in the various constituencies. Now, we will bring you updates on that story, but in the meantime, some youth groups in Bekwai constituency of the Ashanti region have disputed claims the area has been neglected by the incumbent New Patriotic Party government. Some residents had earlier accused Member of Parliament Joseph Osei-Wusu, who is also the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, and President Akufo-Addo of neglect, with claims the constituency has received little or no developments from government. But in a news conference, the youth group made up of market women, taxi drivers associations, among others, say the claims do not reflect the reality on the ground, and that the current MPP government has done better in the constituency than previous governments. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has more.
Their concern stems from the fact that since His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo took over as the president of this republic, Bekwai has not received her fair share of the national cake, and that by every means, whether fair or foul, Right Honorable Joseph Osei-Wusu should be changed. We, the above listed groups, find this very unfortunate and outrageous, to say the least. We, the good people of Bekwai, especially the youth of the constituency, are more than satisfied with the monumental development going on across the constituency. Since the Fourth Republic, our constituency has not received such a massive development than we are seeing today under the able leadership of Honorable Joseph Osei-Wusu.
Spokesperson for the group, Eric Esubonting, cited construction of Kokobin, Senfi, Dominasi, Ajemenso Trunk Road, Bekwai Town Roads, Asansu, Feyasi Roads, Kokofu Asamai Roads, among others, as evidence of infrastructure development in the area.
Under road infrastructure, ladies and gentlemen, let me state without any equivocation that since the Fourth Republic, this is the very first time in the history of Bekwai that we are seeing such unprecedented road infrastructure. Kokobe, Senfi, Dominase, Ajamesu Trunk Road, 9.5 kilometers. Asansu Feyase, 9.6 kilometers. Kokofu Asamai, 3 kilometers. Kensre Pampaso, 13 kilometers. In Tinanko Atuchesu, 13.3 kilometers. Bekwai Town Roads, 19.5 kilometers, and others. Under educational infrastructure, ladies and gentlemen, the achievements of Honorable Joseph Osei-Wusu.
Now, we'll stay with the MPP primaries because supporters of the Doma candidate have been speaking. Now, Precious Semevo is our man on the ground there. He joins us live. Precious, what's the situation where you are? Right, Precious, if you can hear me, paint for us a picture of the situation at Doma. We will get you, Precious Semevo, to bring us that update, but now let's go back to the Ashanti region. Ohiming Teria is standing by with some details of what we just saw. Ohiming, take us away. Right, Ohiming, what's the situation there?
Thank you, Daniel. A while ago, NPP supporters, about 300 of them, marched up in Obuom in the Javan municipality of the Ashanti region in protest over attempts by constituency executives and national executives to disqualify one of the leading parliamentary aspirants for the Javan Municipal Assembly. And indeed, the people who came here are polling station executives, and they say the party's executives have been attempting, they are working assiduously to disqualify this mining consultant considered a front runner. So what they did today was to march to one of the streams in Obuom. And Obuom is just on the Kumasi-Accra Road. They slaughtered a sheep here, cut some parts of the sheep, and also invoke a curses on anybody who will be involved in the attempt to deny their preferred candidate the opportunity to contest for the parliamentary, upcoming parliamentary primaries here in the Jaban constituency.
Ohiming, what's the name of this mining consultant, and who do these persons believe is behind this attempted disqualification? I'm talking about a candidate.
Yes, Daniel, they say Mr. Francis Owusu-Echao, who is making this attempt for the third time, has been in touch with the constituency executives and the polling station executives. He's somebody who they know to be one of their own, and that they want to do anything possible to ensure he's elected to represent them at the constituency level. And Daniel, one key thing is the fact that invocation of curses
is not allowed in the Ashanti region, especially within Asante-Man. And I have been speaking to the traditional authorities here. I have the Nobuamuhine Nana Chere III to find out from him what today's incident mean to him as a traditional ruler. So Nana, tell me what will happen to these people who have gone ahead to invoke curses in the community where it is not allowed to do so.
Thank you very much. You see, in Obom Township, what we have done is that we have banned the curses. So if they have gone contrary to what I have said, that no one is allowed or no one will be permitted to invoke such curses, and if they have done it, then they are going to face the consequences. So I have called them, I have invited them on Sunday. That Sunday they should come to my palace and give me the explanation why they do such a thing.
So you've ordered them to come, invited over to your palace. Let me find out from you, as a traditional leader, did they seek your permission before going to the stream, before doing what they did?
I even don't know anything about the stream unless I got the information or the report from one of my linguists that this is what they have done. That is why I'm saying that I will invite them on Sunday to know from them the reason why they did such a thing.
But the explanation, does the explanation matter, knowing very well that what they did is covered even on live camera, live television? Does this explanation matter once you know they have done it?
Oh yes, it matters a lot because they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have, because in Ashanti region, for coming down to Jaben, Manhene, and Utu coming down to my village and every part of Ashanti region, which is allowed that cases. So once they have done this, that means they have gone contrary to the laws of the land. So any consequences, they have to face it.
All right, that is a Nobuamuhine Nana Kojo Chere III. Nana ya Chere III, Daniel.
Thank you very much, Ohiming. Let's go elsewhere and speak to Precious Semevon now. Precious, paint for us a picture where you are.
Well, Daniel, the situation here in the Bono region, Doma Central, to be specific, is that yesterday in the afternoon, some supporters of the New Patriotic Party, believed to be sympathizers of Dr. Yao Yeboah, who is contesting to represent the New Patriotic Party in the upcoming general election in December. But they appears to have picked some information from the National Party office that their candidate, Dr. Yao Yeboah, has been disqualified. And as such, they took the law into their hands, went to the party office at Doma Central, where they are alleged to have set the place on fire, burning the office equipment used by...
Hello? Right. And be sure to stay with us here on Joy News. This is your election headquarters, keeping you updated till December 7, 2020 and beyond. We turn our attention elsewhere. And nearly 120 health workers in the central region have tested positive for COVID-19. 45 of them are on admission in the various health facilities across the region, while the rest are being taken care of in their homes. Deputy Regional Health Director in charge of Public Health, Dr. Godfred Sapon, is asking health professionals to, as a matter of necessity, observe the preventive protocols, even among themselves, to reduce a further spread of the virus. Richard Kojonyako has more.
The 111 health workers are among the region's caseload that is nearing 500. Cape Coast leads the pack of cases in the region, followed by the commander at Naigua Fabre municipality that has close to 100 cases. Deputy Regional Director of Health, Dr. Godfred Kwabnasapon, cites the non-adherence to the safety protocols, even among health workers, as a major factor accounting for the rising cases among health staff.
And that's where, because that's where we feel that a lot of our health workers are not, unfortunately, are not observing these protocols when they enter their communities and in their homes. And even within our health facilities, when they are interacting with themselves. And so you enter a typical facility where nurses have a changing room and they change into their scrubs. And you don't see some of our nurses, wearing the face mask when they're interacting with themselves. And that's quite worrying. And that could possibly be one of the reasons accounting for the spread among our health workers. Of course, they live in the communities. It's also possible they're picking it from the communities when they don't observe the preventive protocols.
So far, 7,963 people suspected to be having the virus in the region have had their samples taken, and out of the figure, 2,174 are awaiting their test results. Dr. Sapon listed the hotspots in the region as Cape Coast, KEA, Abuasebu Kwamankase, Ejumako, Infantiman, Ewutu-Senya, Asan North and Asan Central. He indicated the health administration takes the situation where the health staff, the very workforce that is expected to take care of the sick getting infected, very serious.
And it's quite worrying for us because if health workers go down, and they are our frontline workers, then the fight against COVID will be compromised. And that's something we don't want to, those are territories we don't want to enter into. So we're taking this a lot more seriously, and we're giving it all the necessary attention that it needs and requires. And we continue to engage with facility managers and our district directors to do the needful and provide and make sure that our health workers are observing all the necessary protocols. Every single facility in Central Region, every single facility providing essential services in Central Region has been supplied with face masks, with hand sanitizers, and they have hand washing facilities within their facilities.
The Deputy Health Director indicated their preparedness to embark on a massive testing of the population in the region to halt community spread and to avoid any overstretch of the health facilities and the personnel in the region. Richard Kwejenyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.
That's live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Dazi. We'll take a few messages, but before we go for that, Josephine Nkrumah, who chairs the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, has a message for you as part of our hashtag Stop the Stigma campaign. Contractors working on the Eastern Railway line from Tema to Pakadana require to provide a new date for completion of work. The line, which is expected to join Burkina Faso, is about 60% complete. The contractors are reported some positive cases of COVID-19 at one of the project sites, a situation which has brought the entire work to a halt. According to the Minister for Railway Development, Joe Garte, government has requested new completion timelines for the project.
A Joy News documentary by Arabakusi examines how the news industry in Ghana is surviving this devastating pandemic, the media, the virus, and survival on the Joy News channel.
But they had also done quite a bit of the formation. The formation is what is done before the track is put on it. In January and February, what they did was that they spent a lot of time working on the badge and so on. And they in fact launched the badge, which will allow them to do the bridge over Volta. If they are going to the Volta region just around Joppo, you see that they worked on both sides of the road. But unfortunately, they were affected by this virus. What is happening is that this morning, the Ghana Railway Development Authority met with them. And we've asked them to give us their proposal for their new timelines. But like all the contractors that we work with have said to me that construction of that nature is not like a car. That you can just switch it on and off. When you demobilize to remobilize, it takes time. And so we've lost significant time. And for those who say that it will be completed in August, please, that is not the situation. In December, they said it will be completed in August. Even what you are wearing, your nose mask you are wearing, must show you that the world has changed. We have all experienced this unfortunate that has changed our world completely. And also, they also had people who had the virus, so they had to stop working. And so Ghana Railway Development Authority will sit down with them, and when the new figure comes out, when the new date comes out, we'll make it known to the people of Ghana.